Hi. How are you?
Hello.
Hi.
Leslie Bibb?
Hi,
Is this Leslie Bibb? Is this really you?
Hi. So it's like you're looking like this at me. Hi.
I know. Sorry. We're in a fake podcast. Well, not a fake podcast studio. We are in a fake podcast studio. I know. The cameras are set in weird directions. So pretend I'm looking at you, okay?
Oh my God, this is so. Oh, there we go. That's a much better. Thanks. Can I have this? That's so much better. Because I feel like we're talking to each other. Now we're looking at each other.
Yeah, but you've seen me look at your face before. Just go back to that time and pretend that's what's happening.
I can't do that. I'm not that good of an actor. Hold on. I have to throw something away. Hi, Charles.
Hi, honey. We just did a podcast with your buddy Michelle Monaghan.
Isn't she lovely?
Yeah, the loveliest. I'm jealous that I wasn't on set with both of you. I told her that the three of us are going to all do something. We're going to do dinner.
Yeah.
Leslie Bibb.
Where are you? Are you in fucking Canada?
Oh my God. Would you let me ask you a fucking question? I mean, who cares where I am?
It's important to me. I love you.
I'm in Beverly Hills at some podcast studio because my house is not done and I have another 4 months of construction. So I had to move back out of my house and now I'm staying at a friend's house.
But I find it interesting that you are, to me, one of the most powerful women I've ever met. Like there's just like, you have like a about you. And the fact that this has run you ragged.
I don't even talk about it anymore. It's too stupid. I refuse to even give it my time of day. I just can't. There's something, I said to someone, I'm like, what kind of karma? They're like, this is not your karma. I go, it really feels like my karma. No. But anyway, I have too many good things in my life to worry about this fucking house. I can't wait to get rid of it. If anyone wants to buy my house, let me know. It'll be in perfect shape by the time you fucking get your hands on it.
It'll be great.
Listen. By the time this comes out, more episodes of White Lotus will have come out. But we're going to focus on the one that we all saw last night or 2 nights ago now. The episode number 5, right? Yes, it was episode 5. Are there 8 episodes? There are 8
episodes. There are 8 episodes.
Okay.
I can answer
First of all, it was the episode with your lover, Sam Rockwell, was in it with an incredible monologue. That starts...
I mean, it was just
It was. I mean, there was a Time magazine article about it, about that monologue. Yes, that you sent me. That was awesome. And actually, really, I felt the same when I watched that monologue. I'm like, this is what Mike White thinks. Like, this is either how Mike White feels and thinks, because that monologue, no one could write something like that, except I thought maybe Sam Rockwell could. I'm like, you know what? Sam might have come in with this monologue and said, listen, I have a piece that I want to put in the show.
I don't know if anybody who writes quite like Mike White does. Like stuff like that, confrontational, that confronting, that subversive, that sort of not nothing he does is like dinner table conversation, you know? And the way he has it, like, I haven't seen the episode, but the fact that Sam just does it like he's saying, pass the salt. And there's something about that because it's his truth. And I feel like if Kate and Lori and Jacqueline, the 3 women, like are the ladies, if the ladies had come in and just been like, my life is a disaster, or my marriage is this, or I lost my job, I think I'm drinking too much, or whatever their shit was, and it just talked about it and been vulnerable and sort of been unapologetic about what's going on in their life, it would have been a very different vacation for them. But instead, they couldn't do that. And so when I read all 8 episodes and I got to that monologue for Frank, I remember feeling like, oh, this is like the essence of the show. Like, this is what he's saying, like what we should try to aspire to. And as it goes on, you'll see that, you know, things can be very hard to hold on to. Like I don't know
hard in general.
I don't know if Frank does such a good job with his sobriety or any of it. So
right. So by the way, how did Sam? So how was it because of you that Sam also got it in the show, or was it completely separate?
Completely separate. The person that they'd first gone to couldn't do it anymore, because we had pushed and we just gone over and weather and whatever. We had gone long, And Sam was doing a movie in South Africa and it was never going to time out. Like they had said something to me early on, like, what if this were to happen? And I was like, I don't think it's going to happen because he's shooting this big movie and he looks like an unhoused person in this movie. You'll never be able to like, he can't do both. And also Sam is not that actor. He won't sort of double team like that. He'll be like, he needs prep time. And then we pushed so much that he was ending his movie and he had like a week and a half between. So technically he could do it, but he really fretted with the idea of doing it. I think he knew that monologue was a beast and that it needed, it's not something you just go, okay, I'm going to do it. You know, you just on top of just being prepared with just being off book and ready, you have to do the deep emotional prep of what that means. And Sam has got a very specific process. And so when they said they were going to offer it to him, I remember Dave Bernard was walking through one of the hotels we were shooting in and I was on the treadmill and I waved at him and I said, come here. And he came in, he goes, did you hear? And I said, yeah. I said, listen, if he doesn't do it, you and Mike can't get mad at me. Like that jet plane's going to fly. I can't ground it. Like that's going one way and I'm not. So he was like, no, we won't get mad at you. And then he hemmed and hawed, but then he eventually did it. And so
I can't imagine anyone else doing that but Sam Rockwell.
Right.
I agree with you.
As soon as I saw him in it, which I didn't know he was going to be in that.
I kept it a secret. Can you believe it?
I know. You guys are good at keeping secrets. You guys are good. I mean, I think you're under contract to keep that secret. So
I know, but still, like, I mean, we told some people, and like some people in our friend, like, you know, people were like, wait, you were there. What was going on? And then, you know, Sam, of course, like when he had people, you know, talk to people about whether or not he should do it. But like, I think we did pretty good. Like, cause you were like, did Sam come visit you? And I was like, yeah, he did. I start looking down and looking away and trying not to make like eye contact because I hate lying to people.
Yeah. Well, okay. The other highlight of last night's episode, first of all, your fucking facial expressions kill me. Whenever I'm friends with anybody who's an actor and I watch them in movies, it's very hard for me to take them seriously. Once I've made a friendship with someone, I just cannot wait. All I do is send my friend Connie pictures of her acting, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. She's like, don't watch it. I don't want to hear any fucking feedback. So, but Leslie's faces in White Lotus. First of all, I also want to just talk about this show and that what a cultural zeitgeist this show is. I was at my sister's 60th birthday weekend, and there were 15 people there, like 4 generations of people, and we all sat down on Sunday night to watch this in a weekend where we were not watching TV. This was the only TV show we watched because everyone was into it. Everyone's like, oh my God, new White Lotus, new White Lotus. So I could only imagine what you've been experiencing being a part of this cast, because it is the show that everyone watches. Like Severance is a very popular show. Not everyone watches it, but it's hugely popular. There isn't a person I know that doesn't watch White Lotus. So that in and of itself is such a testament to like Mike White and all of these casts that he puts together, because the casting is the most integral part to all of these. And it helps that everybody is an actor, not a movie star. You know what I mean? It helps it helps move the story along, that there are so many actors and there's so many stories going on, because it's so fun to follow that.
Yeah.
But there was a scene in this pool with Carrie Coon and with the ladies, the 3 girls, Michelle Monaghan, Leslie, and Carrie Coon. And as we've come to know, Leslie's character's a Trump supporter, which was a fucking...
I'm an independent.
Independent Trump supporter.
Independent. My husband is a Republican, but I'm an independent.
and there's a scene, and when they're with these 3 Russian guys, they've been partying all day, and Carrie Coon takes her top off. She's like trying to hook up with Vladimir, right? Or Voldemort. Vladimir. I think I want to say Vladimir, but it's Valentine.
Same diff.
She's hooking up with, she's wanting to anyway. And when her top comes off, the face that you have, the smile. First of all, the show is filled with facial expressions from you that are fucking to die for. They are so funny. You do that. You go. this patronizing kind of like, yeah. Even when you're about to talk shit with your girlfriends, whether it's with Carrie or Michelle, I'm using their real names because I get confused by all the character names.
No, it's too much. Too many names.
But when one of them leaves and she's like, oh God, she seems like she's drinking a lot. She's like, oh, yeah, she does. Like everything is so smart. It's just coming down like a butterscotch candy. And it's so funny. And then when Carrie Coon's top comes off, like Leslie Bibb's already like, I don't know about these men at our villa. What's going on? This is a little too much for me as an independent Trump supporter. This is a little bit too much for me. And then the face that you make when her top comes off, like, like just a deflation of like, oh no, we're all going to get gangbanged or something bad is going to happen, which is where I thought that scene was going. I'm like, they are going to turn on her and somebody's getting fucked. And that somebody that doesn't want to is going to. But your acting in this is just like, your character is so perfectly you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah.
That means a lot. Like, it really means a lot coming from you. I've never experienced anything like this show before. It's crazy. Like, I don't think somebody said to me today, they were like, it's, and I was like, yeah, it's this. It's just like, everybody's watching it. And they also, there's an obsession with it, and people really watch it for, which is, I'm sure, I think Mike probably loves very much, is they get all of like the metaphors and the themes and I don't know if it's because it only comes out once a week and it makes you have an appetite for it, and that you have to sit there and then you can rewatch it and look at stuff and go, oh wait, did you see why were there 3 monkeys in that corner, and why were that, like, people are picking up on things that, like, I was like, are they going to get that? And they just so, the obsession with understanding it thematically, I think is really cool, because I do think Mike is working in big themes. I think, he's talking about spirituality and death, but then he's also working with doppelgangers and mirrors and like reflections. Like with us, with the 3 ladies, we were said like, oh, nobody could tell us apart when we were kids. And even while we were filming, if I had my head turned, somebody would be like, my haircut was enough like Carrie's, and like it was starting to like, felt like art in life started to, you're there long enough and you start to feel like a guest at the White Lotus because you're filming at a hotel. Where you go, it says the White Lotus. I don't know. It's like a weird mind trip. So I don't know. I so appreciate you saying that the work is good, but I think part of it is just being surrounded by it all the time, that I don't know. I mean, I think it helps the work. Like when we were getting cabin fever from being there for 6 months and feeling like this sometimes, because you're away from home and away from anything that feels like you're normal. I think it actually helped the work. And I think for the people who love it, I think the fact that he makes you wait every week also helps to aid the fever pitch of like, I want more, and the episodes were much bigger. They were, I don't know, like hour and a half long. And then HBO would make Mike, cut them down to 52 minutes. So sometimes I want to see what those hour and a half long episodes.
Me too. So does everybody else.
I know. Like I had this insane dream sequence that we shot that I was so like, it was like a sucker punch when I found out it got cut. And I was like, oh, poor Kate. But like, there's so many stories he's telling and interweaving. It's fascinating to me how and it's interesting your take that like, if you had a big movie star in there, would you be able to like, with such abandon, go down the all of these roads with these people? Or would you be like, oh, there's Tom Cruise, or there's, you know what I mean? Would you, do you think?
I don't know. It's tough to think about. I mean, I think that kind of, it's, maybe,
Yeah.
I would think so. I mean, depending on their acting ability, like to really immerse themselves. I mean, maybe it could just be, if Tom Cruise was a character in that show, like, that would be really interesting. It would be interesting to watch him mixing
Right?
with everybody and not being the main attraction, being one of the storylines,
Yeah,
which I
jumping
really
off a building.
appreciate as a viewer. Yeah, jumping off a bill, of course, or into Paris or wherever he needs to go for the Olympics next. But what do you learn about the show when you're doing it? Like, what does Mike tell you about it? Like, what are you not allowed
None
to
of
talk
that
to
stuff.
people about?
You're not allowed to talk
Nothing.
about anything.
Yeah.
Not really allowed to talk about anything. I mean, the fact that they kept Sam's secret is kind of incredible to me. I don't know how they did that, because I just don't know how. I mean, in this age where everything gets leaked, I don't know. I kept saying to him, I think it's bonkers that nobody knows you're in it, like, or it hasn't somehow gone out. But when you're doing it, it's, you read the script, but like there's something with the way he directs and the way he's, and you sort of get all 8, and then I only have then I have to give back everything because those scripts are so guarded. So I have just my section of the script. So I feel very disconnected to anybody else's storyline. So you're kind of there on your own journey, and so you don't know how it's all going to be interconnected or any of that. So that's really like Mike, the editing, how he sees it, how it changed. I mean, it's really all a testament to him and his vision for this. And I think he's got remarkable editors, and his production designer is incredible. Nothing Mike does is like, oh, look at that happy accident. But when you're there, you don't feel like that's happening, but he's just a mastermind. He's really, and I feel like in this 3rd season, you're really seeing Mike. I felt like as a director, really step into his own in a big way, because he's a writer and an actor, and those hats, I think he wears effortlessly, but something about this season felt like something felt, I don't know, different.
Is there any improvisation?
He's like, I have this thing about beans. We're on the beach. I say all these innocuous things. I just have my last name is Bohr, Kate Bohr. So I don't really say anything interesting. Like, he put it all in the name, Bohr, Kate Bohr. And I have this like thing about beans, how I tricked my mind into liking beans. And he must have liked it, because then he came over and he said, Carrie, maybe you would say this. And then Leslie, you go, no, I don't like big beans. I like small beans. And then we went into a whole thing where we were just riffing on beans. And he was like gigante. And then we're doing this stuff. But he usually comes up with he's so rhythmic with when he's hearing his writing, and that he comes over and changes it. But that's it. I mean, it's nothing like, it's all Mike. It's kind of refreshing, because then you don't feel like you have to do anything, and it's all on the page.
Right,
so
right.
You're not trying to make chicken salad out of chicken shit. It's like already a fucking amazing sandwich, and it's got like French fries and a great drink, and like, it's everything. You don't have to make something out of nothing.
Okay, on that note, we're going to take a break, and we're going to come right back with Leslie Bibb. And we're back with Leslie Bibb from the White Lotus, most recently from the White Lotus. She's been in a bevy of things, and everyone knows who you are. And then this show now, as we've discussed, is like being catapulted front and center with it's like being, I mean, I know that you guys have been on this crazy press tour, and I know you personally have been bouncing around crazily, and you're like, oh my God, this is so crazy. It's just like, I've never been part of something like this where everybody is invested, and like the whole world is watching, and it must just be such a crazy ride.
Chelsea, it's fucking amazing. It's so cool. It's like, somebody was like, why aren't you watching? And I said, well, it's like, I'm critical of myself, and it just feels tricky. Like, people have been saying the work is good. So I worry that if I watch it, I'm going to try to recreate something, or I don't know. Like, it was just very like in the moment happening. So like, when you talk about my faces, like, I don't know what those were. Like, I did a lot of prep work and a lot of stuff, but then, so people saying the work is good, that's so meaningful. And it's not like, I've never had it to this magnitude that the people are saying the work is good like this. And so it's really nice. But also it feels like a dream. And it feels like if I watch it, I'll be waking up from the dream. And it's like, I just want to sleep 5 more minutes. Like, I just want to stay. It's like the best dream I've ever had. And I just want to stay. So I'm just trying to just enjoy it all and go with it and try to be present. And it's awesome because then it'll be over, and it doesn't always happen. And I feel so lucky that it happened to me. And I feel so lucky that, like, usually in a show, they would never cast me, Carrie, and Michelle. It would be one of us. I've never gotten to work with those other two because there's only one of us who would get the job. They would never, you know what I mean? It just doesn't happen. And then you get to do the job and all 3 of you are there. And it's not like one person has the better part, which would be the other thing. Like, you would just be like, oh, well, that's the lead. And we're like the 2 best friends that maybe have one scene or something that might be cut to shreds to do something because you're just aiding the lead actor's story. And it's like, somehow we all get our slice of the pie. And it's amazing. It's like, it sometimes makes me want to cry. Like, it just feels, as corny as that sounds, is like, but it does not fall short on me that this is happening to me now in my life.
No, actually, can I tell them, can I talk about, we went to the Vanity Fair party and for the Oscars this year, and Leslie's like, I was like, do you want some LSD? I would have my microdose, of course. And she's like, LSD? Oh my God, no. And then she goes, actually, she's like, I'm just not going to drink for this period of time. And I was like, oh, why? And she said, because I really want to be present for this experience that I'm having with White Lotus and it coming out. And I just want to experience this all. And I was like, wow, that is powerful. Like, good for you for doing that. And I totally get that,
Yeah.
I don't know why you couldn't take some LSD because you wouldn't be drinking, but whatever. I think that's really like a really beautiful way to handle it, because it's not like you're sober, you drink, you have a good time, but like for periods in our life when we really do want to be there and not hungover and not have have complete mental clarity about what you're experiencing. Yeah.
Also, too, do you ever have this? I don't know if you got, but like when I go to those things, it's not like I'm like, oh, I'm going to the Vanity Fair party. I feel really in my body right now. It's like, I'm like, I haven't eaten all day. I'm like stuffing into a dress that's like a beautiful dress. And you kept saying, why are you picking up your dress? Let it hang. And I was like, I'm like a giraffe, Chelsea. I'm going to trip. I'm like, look graceful, but I'm not graceful. The truth of the thing is, and like, I don't want to rip the dress. And then you've got your hair and your makeup and you're in these fucking shoes that are not comfortable. And like, it's like, I feel like if I go there and I have a drink on top of it, I'm for sure going to face plant. And like that's for sure going to happen. Like, I'm just going to be, but then like, like Robert Downey Jr. came up to me at the Vanity Fair party, and who I haven't seen in a long time, who I did, Iron Man with. And he was so kind. And I was so happy that I was really there to have that conversation. And it's also like, I think like they're the highs that you want to be present for, but then when you're having a panic attack or an anxiety attack or feeling like you have imposter syndrome, that I go, I don't think that glass of wine or that, margarita are going to be great for me right now. And it kind of happened after the fires, because I was with Chelsea for the fires. And
another night. And
that happened like really fast. And like, we thought it was one thing. We thought like, oh, the Palisades in your home was under threat. And like the Critics' Choice it was just like happening in real time. This information coming in of destruction to Los Angeles and everything sort of changing. And then we're sitting at a hotel having a drink. And then we had to evacuate our hotel. And I'd had a few drinks. Like, I was like pink cheeked and like, and the next morning I was like, oh, this is not that was like sort of sobering to go, oh yeah, you gotta be present. Like it felt like it felt like a nice little wake up call to
Yeah,
just
that was a crazy night. I was staying at one hotel. I went to go have drinks with her at the chateau. Then a fire broke out in the Hollywood Hills, and we had to evacuate the chateau.
Oh my
and I used to
God.
date the guy that runs the chateau, so I told everybody I think I'm still Mrs. Chateau. So I went around and dismissed all of the staff. I'm like, everybody leave, everybody get out. I'm like, everybody needs to check out of the hotel. Andre's like, well, Chelsea, don't panic. I'm like, everyone let's go to, and then we got in our car.
If I didn't have you, I don't have a car when I'm in Los Angeles. Like, I don't know. What do you call an Uber in a time like that? I don't think so. Like Sunset Boulevard. And we had Greg Williams, who's an amazing photographer who was there, who had just done like the Globes and was going to do the Critics' Choice. And then we had Michael Wincott, who is a actor who's a somewhat reclusive and was living at the chateau. And we grabbed him because. And then it was like, I was like, this is a short film. Like, whatever.
I was like, let's go. I'm like, we should head to San Diego. And they're like, San Diego? And I'm like,
I mean,
she's
basically.
like, Leslie's like, what about Newport Beach? Why would we go all the way to San Diego? I'm like, I'm not sure, but I think we should go to San Diego. There are fires coming from every direction.
They
But
were.
we ended up going back to my hotel, and all of us just ended up drinking and being stupid because we didn't know what else to fucking do. And we were a band of random idiots. Anyway, we have to get to one caller at least for this episode before we shoot the shit any longer.
Yes.
Are you? We're going to take a caller, Leslie. Are you ready?
Yeah.
We're gonna give advice.
Our first caller is Shannon. And I feel like this question is particularly appropriate because there were so many age gap relationships represented in White Lotus this season specifically. Shannon says, Dear Chelsea, I'm 34 years old and I'm married to an 80-year-old man.
Whoa.
From the outside, it might look like I have security, but the truth is far more complicated. I met him when I was 18. He was supposed to be a safety net, not a husband. One choice led to another, and before I knew it, I had built a life that does not feel like mine. The thing is, he loves me. He always has, but I cannot love him back. And yet, I stay. I stay because leaving feels impossible. I stay because I've made choices that make walking away more complicated than staying. But most of all, I stay because of my 2 golden retrievers who are 12 and 13 years old. They've been my constant through every twist and turn, and I do not know what I am without them. I'm not lost, I'm not weak, but I am stuck. Shannon.
Whoa.
And then she'll be joining us here to chat.
Shannon, this is Leslie, our special guest today.
Hi.
Leslie Bibb, say hi.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you? I'm a fan. Hi.
Oh, thank you so much. Shannon, that letter was really incredibly open and vulnerable. It was very, very cool.
It's a little vague, so I don't know if you guys want to start or what.
Well, I do want to clarify one thing because, you said that you guys met when you were 18, but you had sort of been working for his ex in like a work capacity. So it wasn't like you started dating him when you were 18, right?
No, never. Never did I ever date him. There was no dating. There was no sugar baby, sugar daddy, like relationship, like nothing like that. He just was always like a caretaker or like some backup security for me because I just don't have like family and whatnot. And this was a long time ago. And I just became dependent on him.
Would you say you were dependent emotionally? Do you feel like that he filled some void for you emotionally?
I'm not. It sounds so like messed up, but not really. Like
Okay.
he was a friend, but like when I tell you, like for years he was supposed to be the guy that walked me down the aisle, like in place of my dad, because I don't have one. He caught major feelings for me, and I thought that marrying him would make my life easier, and it has made my life way worse.
How so? How so? How's it made your life worse?
Well, I've always been independent. Like I've always been a very hard worker and always like took care of myself. But, I have these 2 dogs and sometimes emergencies would happen and he would always help me. And then next thing you know, like, I don't know, just the pandemic happened and he was always just helping me out. And then it like resulted in him falling in love with me. And I thought that, okay, well, fine. If we get married, like like he can have, companionship and not die alone. And I thought I could be, somewhat like able to like get my life together, like go back to college and all those things. And no, he wants us to be like a real deal married couple. And it's like I thought by being introduced as his wife would be enough, and just spending the majority of my time with him and all these things. But he wants one thing and one thing only, and that's really what has happened since we got married.
He wants sex?
Yeah, he wants intimacy. He wants to make out. And I am like, absolutely not. And that's never been how our relationship was.
Wow.
Do I say, or do I try to plan like to go? But both seem extremely impossible. And it's like, it's as if I'm living till my dogs die, which is like a sick way to live. And these dogs mean the world to me. And it's almost impossible to take care of two big dogs, by yourself. So I didn't know I had to sacrifice so much.
I don't think it's impossible to take care of two big dogs by yourself. I don't think that's, I mean, you're dealing with an 80-year-old man. Like,
Yeah.
Do you have a job?
Well, I don't, and I did not have one when I married him. So, and I've always been a bartender, and like for 10 years, I've just been a bartender, and that's the only source of money I know how to make.
Okay,
and
that's good. You can do that though. That's a source of income. That's
yes,
good. You're capable of doing that.
Yes, I am capable of doing that. So it's just like I'm dependent on him for everything. And I currently just like a hot mess. And I did get a job when we first got married, and it gets so emotionally taxing that it's like he expects me to take off work to drive him to whatever appointments he needs. And I get so emotionally distressed that at this point in my life, I am not like, I don't trust myself to be reliable enough for a job. Like I married him to like basically be like able to just like take care of him and our home and the dogs and be his wife. But I didn't know he wanted all of the things a wife comes with.
So are you in a sexual relationship with him now?
Absolutely not. No, never have been, never once. And that's the thing that like no one believes me. And
well, who cares if they believe you? I mean, it's like that's like a moot point. It's like you can think whatever the heck you want. You have no control over that. But I think the bigger things, I just feel like there's two things happening. You have sort of like, you have to look at like why you got into this, which is you were probably seeking some sort of security, something that probably maybe you did not feel in your life, some sort of self-worth that you didn't have for yourself. So you thought, and which is common. That's not a judgment that I'm saying that. I'm just saying that like, we all seek, all of this is coming from a non-judgment place. It's just, we make these choices. We've all done it, everybody. So nobody we've all done versions of this, like where you've picked the wrong person, or you think I'm going to pick this person because they feel safe, or they feel this, or they feel that. And then you get down that road and you're like, oh, not what I thought, and it's unsafe. And then the ball starts rolling that way. And you think in your head, it's too complicated. And you start to come up with these reasons why you can't go, oh, I can pull the chute. I can leave, taking care of two dogs. You can do that. You can do that. That's not, but the thing is, that's what you're telling yourself. You need to look at what's really underneath, which is it's scary because you haven't had a job probably in a long time. I would feel that, you probably have not had a job in a long time. And you're like, where's that money going to come from? There's probably maybe even on some subconscious level, he does give you some sort of sense of security.
Yes.
And whether you want to, because it's easy to be like, no, it's this and it's this, but maybe there is some version where he does make you feel okay. And maybe you don't have to be vulnerable with somebody else, because to be single and to be out there, you have to be open, and you have this is the devil, right?
Yes. Yes.
No. So it's very scary to go, I don't know what the fuck is out there.
That's where I'm kind of at. I feel like, yeah, like I don't know. I've always had him as a backup. Like, like I've had rent and all, and I've had jobs, Chelsea, and all the things, but like he's always been, I've never really had everything on my own. He's always been there to help me. So that's kind of what's keeping me here.
Because it's scary.
No, exactly. It is scary. And I feel like what you're feeling, like it is easier to kind of stay put because of inertia and just because that's what you've known. But I feel like what is coming up for you is that you have outgrown needing somebody else to like do this for you. And like being able to go out and get a job, it's not like leave him tomorrow and take the dogs. It can be a transition. You know, you can look at getting a job, like initiating some of that stability for yourself before having that conversation about maybe I want to move out or maybe I want to do this. It doesn't have to be an all or nothing thing, but it sounds like you're kind of outgrowing this and you're getting to a point where you might not need this anymore.
I think also we have to watch. It's so easy to be like this, like we tell ourselves the truth that we want. It's like his schedule keeps me from having a job. You could be like, hey, I need you to make your doctor's appointments. And I'm sure you probably help him make his doctor's appointments because he's 80. To go, we're going to schedule your doctor's appointments from 12 to 5. I'm going to go and I'm going to take a job at night and I'm going to bartend once a week or twice a week. And I go to work at 6 o'clock to midnight. And that's how you do. But you have to be the captain of your ship. You have to really want to do this because it's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be a lot of unknowns and your apartment might not be as nice or your home might not be as nice as it is. And, dogs, they're fine. The fact that they're not in a shelter, if they're having a great life, your dogs are 12 and 13. They don't need to walk that much. You take them on 2 good walks. You give them love. You give them their treats. If you maybe get a shitty apartment that has a backyard so the poochies can be out there. I just know that like when you really do want to change, you will make that change. But I think you have to also really look. Somebody can want everything from you, but it's like you have to decide what you're willing to give. So he can't take anything from you that you're not giving. So
right.
It's about sort of also meeting him and going, what am I doing? What am I looking for? And take all the judgment and everybody's freaking opinions out of it. Like, it's really easy to look at the White Lotus. All we do is talk about each other.
Exactly.
We're all throwing stones from glass houses,
What's your financial situation with him? Does he just supply you with money? Do you have access to money? Like, what's the deal there?
No, he controls everything. Like, I have to ask for everything. And, and it's a bunch of like, withholding money if we get into a fight. And he's still an active attorney. Like he still works every day and stuff like that. And he has a serious temper. So it's like,
is he abusive?
Emotionally, and the way he yells and scares my dogs. And then, so this,
but
like,
does he scare you?
Sometimes in like his like threats, like with what he can do legally, like if I like don't like if I piss him off, he'll be like, I'll get you out of here. Like he says stuff like that. But like no, I'm not like scared of him. Like it's as if like if I was in a relationship married to someone my own age and this is how he treated me, it would be different.
But why? But why? Why would it be different?
Because I think I do know that I am able to like just be nice to him and like, kind of like mask it and flirt it. And I'll be able to like somewhat get my way, but that's just not the girl I am. And I thought, I guess when I married him that I'd be able to like kind of schmooze myself a little bit and like, I don't even let him sleep in my bed like at all. And it's a never ending circle. So I guess now my question would be like, okay, you guys, thank you very much. It's validated that like I am capable of leaving, but do I sneak making money? Do I sneak getting out of here? Like, do I talk? Because like he doesn't take like divorce or anything very well, if that makes sense.
I don't know. Chelsea, what do you think?
I think that you have to take a step every single day to get out of that situation. I think that you need to go out actively and get a job. Go get a bartending job, find a place to work. It's not a question. It's not up for debate with him. And that's it. Like you're going to tell him that you're going to get a job. You have to make your own money. You don't like being controlled with the money. You have to prepare yourself for when he's no longer here. He's 80 years old. You're 34 years old. So you have to figure out a way to get your life back in your own hands. And regardless of his reaction, I'm not concerned about your dogs. Like, you can take care of 2 dogs. Of course you can. Millions of people do it. Millions of single people have more than one animal. You know, like, that's not an issue. You think that's the issue because that's the only reality you've known. You have a chance to actually like grab life like by the balls and live your life truly and wholly and do what you want. So I understand it's not going to happen overnight. You're not going to walk out the door today and say, okay, we're getting a divorce, but you can walk out the door today and go get a job and go fill out an application and go to a restaurant and say, do you need a bartender? Go to a bar, find a job and start working. And that's the first step. And then the second step will be to start saving money and working more. And it's not up to him when you work. You'll be available for his, you know, you can make the situation amenable to him in a way where if he's working every day, then what you could be doing, you could be working during the day too. You don't have to just be a bartender. You could go work at Starbucks. You could go work at a coffee shop. What's to stop you from doing that? You know, like, you have to go get a job first of all, because that is going to provide you with the self-worth that you're going to need to have the kahunas to actually exit from this situation. This is not a healthy situation that you're in. It sounds very limiting emotionally, psychologically, and every other way possibly. You know, you're a young, vibrant woman who needs to live a life. And so every step you should be taking should be in the direction of that life and pursuing that life. And if he says he doesn't want you to get a job, then you have to say to him, well, that's what's going to happen. If you want to divorce me because I want to work, then I feel like I'm being controlled. Then you're going to have to divorce me. And you have to mean it. You're not going to end up like outside on the street. You're going to go get a job. That's what you're going to do, whether it's today or tomorrow. I want to hear from you that that's what you're going to do.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
You need to get your life. You're not living your life right now. You're living someone else's life. So you have to go out there every day. I want you to write this down too, that you are strong and that you are powerful and that you are resilient. Write that down and put it in front of you. And when you wake up every morning, read that to yourself. I am strong, I am powerful, and I am resilient. And go get that job, start work. And if you don't get the first 5 jobs you apply for, keep going because you're strong, you're powerful, and you're resilient. And you're going to get one of them. And then you're going to get that job, you're going to start working, and you're going to start to feel the self-worth that comes from making a living, and that you are an independent, free person, that you can do independent, free things. No one has control over you but you. You have allowed this person to take control over you. You made some of these decisions that got you into this mess, and now you're going to make the decisions that get you out of this mess. And it's just a matter of time before you have enough money, before you're going to meet people at work. You might meet somebody that you can live with. You might meet a roommate. These are all probable situations. Once you start saving money, you can start looking into where you want to live, getting an apartment, living with other people. It's okay to downsize. It's okay to go through some difficult times as a transition out of this life. What you're in search and pursuit of is freedom. You don't have your freedom right now. So like you're going to get off of this call and you're going to find your freedom. You're going to take one step every single day. You are going to take one step in the direction of getting your life back to a place where you're making decisions for yourself. And then you're going to take your dogs with you when you leave.
Hell yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yeah. No, I needed to hear that. I did.
So when this episode comes out, I want you to play this episode. You write down all of these things I'm saying to you. You need to wake up every morning and talk to yourself in a way that you have not been talking to yourself. You're independent and you can be free. Okay? You are. We're not living in this. I mean, we are living in a little bit of a fucked up world right now, but you still have your freedom. So fucking get it while you can. You have a whole life to live without him.
Yes.
And you have sex to go have. You have to go have sex with people.
I know. I miss that too. Trust me.
Yeah. So come on, like, you know what to do. You know what the answer is here. You have to listen to yourself.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we're gonna want I'm gonna want progress reports from you. Okay. We're gonna want you to.
Yeah. No. That's okay. That's what I was hoping for.
It's okay. You're gonna have some days. It's not gonna be fucking sunshine and like what Chelsea said. Like you might not get the first. Like you might not get the first job or the second job, but you have to. I think what she's saying about writing those things down, it's true. When she just said it, didn't you feel like I can fucking do it?
Of course.
Play this fucking podcast in your ear, like on a loop, and hear her voice in your head, because you can do anything. And what you tell yourself is very powerful. And don't throw out baby steps for like what's giant steps. You know, it's like little compounding, like little small steps can make a giant one. And so,
yes. And also just remember, just because you haven't exerted your powerfulness and been an empowered woman up until here, you know, maybe in moments you have been, but all over, like, you have a reservoir of resilience inside of you that you have not tapped into yet. Do not doubt the power of being a woman. Don't ever doubt yourself, okay? You can doubt yourself for a minute or here and there, but you always have to come back to the idea that I can do this. I can do this. And you're going to show yourself with every step. So next week, I want you to send to Catherine and me a list of the places you've applied, what happened, which jobs, have you gotten any job opportunities, have you accepted a job? Let us know and check in so we can be accountable. You can be accountable to us, okay? Because we'll be here for you.
That's amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean it. We're going to get you out of this situation, and we're going to get you out of it in a good, positive, healthy way. Okay? Because you need to be surrounded by other things other than this. This is not the way to go through life.
Yeah.
Cool.
You deserve more.
Thank you very much. And like, I don't know if that's like why that's what I needed, but I am very
obviously.
capable. I needed
You
something.
You are.
Yes, you are. Okay.
All right.
Cool.
Well, Shannon, thank you, and we'll be in touch, okay?
hi, Shannon.
Yes. Bye. Thank you so much.
Girl. Got this.
For sure.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye, honey.
Talk soon. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back to wrap up with Leslie Bibb. And we're back with Leslie Bibb. What a whoopsie doodle that was. Fuck. Oh my God.
You know, Chelsea, it's remarkable. And I'm not blowing smoke up your ass, but like, it's remarkable, like the way you make people, and especially women, feel like we can do anything and that we've got this. And you're this force, this power, and the way you're so smart and you're so funny and you're so quick. And you've got this enormous heart, and like the grace you gave that young woman and the great advice you gave her, and you just feel like you can do anything you're such an amazing person to have in your corner. It's really, you're an extraordinary person. You really are.
Thank you. Right back at you,
Really
Leslie.
are.
Right back at you. And you too, Catherine. Right back at you.
Yeah.
Likewise.
Nice.
Yeah, Leslie, you
all
gave
are.
great advice today.
Yeah, you did. You did. You great. You brought it.
Yeah.
You brought it.
Like, that's a heavy thing. Like, because you tell yourself, you make this choice when you're a kid. I was married. I married somebody. And I just thought, like, I picked the guy who was right on paper. He wasn't that great to me. It was like all the things. We were not suited. He wanted like a giraffe, he wanted a zebra, and I'm a giraffe. And it's like, I just thought, I think women think we can just like compartmentalize, and I can be this and I can do this, and I can sort of fragment myself enough to make everybody happy. And instead of saying, no, this isn't what makes me happy. And like sort of that, to go back to Mike, that to live your life unapologetically.
Well, I appreciate everything you said, and I appreciate you, and I'm so happy for your success. I'm so excited for you and all of the things that are to come, and I just can't wait to see you again in person.
Thanks.
And thank you for being here on Dear Chelsea. You were awesome. We
Yeah.
loved it.
Thanks, guys. Thanks. You guys
And you made great faces, too.
Yes, best faces. Best faces on the show. Leslie Bibb, everybody.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. I'll see you later, Chelsea. Bye. It was nice.
Okay,
seeing
have
you.
a great day.
Bye, guys.
Likewise.
Thanks.
Bye.